You are changing whether you like it or not. You are changing whether you want to or not. Let's slide this up. Slide this. You son of a fucking, you. Oh my God. Okay. Hi. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mitch. I am talking to myself with you if you're watching. The reason I'm really recording this as well is to talk about entropy. So the real definition, I'm not even going to define and look it up. Look up entropy, entropy, look it up. Man, I am cranky today. It's late. I would just want to do anything other than film this video, but I want to change. I think I want to change, but okay. So part of everything that I've been trying to do with myself and my own mental health journey and the ups and downs and all that stuff has been showing up. And how do I really show up? Can I actually show up for myself when I don't want to? When I'd rather smoke and go to bed or watch some illicit materials on the interwebs. So I'm trying to write out this fucking script, or I'm trying to write out these videos. Try to contain my thoughts in a way, not hide them, but contain them in a sort of channel so I can communicate what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling to myself so that I can hear it. But I don't even watch these videos. So like, am I really doing this for me? Am I really using this channel as like a catalog of my mental health, or am I am I too concerned with being spiritually minded or mindful or kind and compassionate that this is the only way I can make videos? And this is, I think a part of that is true because then this is a judgment. So roll with me on this. I know that it isn't actually accurate, but for right now, it feels the most accurate. What it feels like, this is all I know to do. Like, I'm not talented enough in anything else to make any other kind of content, I guess. Like, not smart enough, not funny enough, not entertaining enough, or not educational enough. So I figure, well, yeah, let me try to be inspirational because that seems like the easiest one. I'm nice to people. I'm kind to people when I talk to them. I like talking to people, so I often think that I'm somewhat of an inspiration. But in the reality, the truth, whatever that may be, is that I don't do the work. All the stuff that I just regurgitate here that I see on the things that I follow, and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I'll just steal that. Here I am. That's kind of what I'm feeling right now. But basically, what it means is that things will continue to go toward randomness, a la decaying and dying. So everything on this earth is going to decay and die, myself included. And the entropy is the universal default to randomness. When I was, as I'm researching this video, the metaphor that was very salient. Why am I even trying with these smart words? Though the metaphor that made a lot of sense to me is when you have a bunch of bricks in your truck bed and you're tossing them out onto the ground. Are they more likely to fall in a very neat and stacked pile, or are they going more likely to fall in a disarranged? That's not a word. That's not a word. Are they more likely to fall in a scattered pattern? And they are scattered, much like my thoughts in my brain right now. And this feeling of entropy, I think, is like a dissipation of energy. If we're talking about the laws of thermodynamics, the first one being energy is not created or destroyed, it is merely transferred. And so it's transferred into something else. And a lot of quantum physics, which I don't know jack about, or even like people who use the principles of quantum physics and apply them to spirituality, it's this idea, right, that it's like it's just an energy exchange. So it's neither created nor destroyed. It's just this energy that I receive, so I'm giving it right back to you. And then another law, another law of thermodynamics is this law of entropy. So in the context of physics, based on the definitions, entropy is the dissipation of heat through a transfer of systems, right? So um, it's never going to be a perfect one-to-one. Even though there is that complete energy exchange and energy is never created nor destroyed, it is not this direct line. I don't give my energy out entirely to this thing, and then that energy takes it fully 100%. Some of that energy is scattered to heat exchange and just scattered out. And I've been feeling a lot of that recently, of just this sort of scattering of just not even a loss of energy, but just this feeling of so much of myself is dissipating and scattering around, and everywhere I look, I always see these reminders of things that I should be doing. I should clean my cat's litter box. I should put my shoes away. I should brush my teeth. I should go to bed sooner. I should make all these changes in my life so that the things that I'm struggling with right now will go away. But then I should also be patient and mindful with myself and knowing that change takes time, and all these shoulds and all these distortions and all of this dissipation of heat, of ideas. And I am in this cycle again of not changing. And yet I'm making this whole channel, or I've sort of touted myself as this person on the internet who is saying like, hey, look, I'm trying to change, or I am trying to grow. And nothing changes if nothing changes. And, that's a thought that's been a part of my brain for a long time. Of course I saw it somewhere on like I think I saw it on like a fitness page or something, like nothing changes if nothing changes. So you better work out hard and sweat hard right now. And that's good advice because it's true. Nothing changes if nothing changes, but it's also not true because we are constantly changing every day. You are changing whether you like it or not. And you are changing whether you want to or not. And obviously, I know that change is a lot of that change is biological, but a lot of that change is like psychological too. And I think this idea of entropy really makes sense to me as to why, if we're not constantly learning, or at least trying to learn, that semblance of and desire for chaos and disorder and randomness in the universe makes sense with a lot of older people in charge who are making certain choices that don't seem to make any logical sense, but because their brain has entropy, it's just sort of starting to sludge out and dissipate through the heat. And so people are just making decisions that don't make sense because they're starting to lean on randomness, not intentionally or maybe whatever, but also, yeah, it's just this idea that, of course, and maybe that does give me empathy for people in that moment where it's like, oh, you are just like at the mercy of the randomness of the universe. And it seems like it takes so much concerted effort to change and grow in a progress and in a place that we want, that when we don't, our brain just changes anyway and just contorts and shifts and grows and shrinks, gets better in some places and then worse in others. Not to put qualitative stuff on anything, but maybe that kind of makes sense, right? But if I never do the work to change my situation is always going to be the same. But while I have some control over the situation in my life, situations, a lot of the spiritual practices that I follow and mindset practices that I follow from people here on this great, great platform. I love you, YouTube. But so much of this is like, and this is something I have told many people before in my life, which is we cannot control the things around us. We can only control our response to those things. But what is our obsession with control? And what is our obsession with change? I saw a great comment on a video about the grift of self help. Someone commented, he's like, all these videos of all this self help is just another way to avoid doing the actual hard work of actually changing, of actually doing those things that people talk about in these YouTube videos. And uh, I am very. Do you ever just like recognize when your brain stops working, or when you truly like what is happening right now, which I don't have the connector between the things that I'm thinking and how I can communicate them out with words? Because oh my gosh, you go to my YouTube algorithm, you go to my all of my algorithms, it is nothing but self-help. Nothing but self-help. Because I watch it all the time. I do. And you know what? I don't do a lick. I don't do a lick of anything they tell me to do. I don't do it. I don't do it. I don't know why. You know why I don't know why? You know why, actually, I don't why? You know why I don't why? You know why I don't? Because it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't. I'm too afraid to actually make those changes, to actually do that work, because it's hard and I don't want to do hard things. I don't. Sue me. Don't. You litigious siren. But this obsession with change, right? This obsession with change and this obsession with growth, because it is too challenging to actually reckon with where I'm at in my life. Stick with me on this, but realizing too that I am here because of the culmination of my choices. I'm going to stick with this on me because I know that there is a lot of people who have a lot of external circumstances that are very challenging, very painful, and unavoidable. And to claim that where they are in their lives is because of the choices they made is disgusting. But it is easy for me to look at my life and think, oh, I am here because of a culmination of every single choice I've made up until this point. And so I choose. And it sucks. It sucks to admit that I choose the things that I know are not good for me. And I do choose them. As much as as much as I think it's like, oh, it's automatic, or as much as I think it's like this thing that's so far and outside of me that I have no control over that, I still make those choices. I still stay up too late, hit snooze, eat ice cream, stupid metaphors. And you can obviously take from this what you will. But I think, too, a lot of this like desire for change and this desire for growth comes from control. Because I think a part of us, it comes from, oh my God, wow, stop this is I'm spitting. I'm spitting here. I'm too judging on myself. I forgot what I was even going to say. All of this stuff, all of this self help, this surrender, this release is from a place of control. Even when I am admitting that I don't have control, that is me trying to take control of the moment by saying, you know what? I am in so much control, I know that I don't have control. And I trust the universe, which I don't. I don't. I tell people to. I mean, I literally made a TikTok like 2 days ago about trusting the universe, or like trusting the process or whatever. And it's true. And I mean, I believed it then, but right now making this video, I still believe it. I still believe it. I'm just grumpy. So I won't say control, but I will say order. I think there is a lot of desire for order in our lives. block scheduling, setting alarms, setting reminders, calendars, all of these things that feed the beast of order because we can't have control, so we might as well make it orderly. I can't control these outcomes, but I can set up the outcomes in an orderly fashion so that when it does all come crumbling down, I can say, well, at least I built that. And because we are afraid of death, I think all of everything we do ever is always in service of the fear of death, or always in service of avoiding that fear of death. And because entropy is randomness and randomness is death, control is something that we do, or order is something we do in direct opposition of entropy, in direct opposition of randomness, so that, oh, if I have order, then I won't die. And that's not true. Because it's going to happen, whether we want to or not. And that is the biggest blessing and also the plight of us, right? Is that there is an end to this. And that used to terrify me. I remember, God, I was like 7 or 8, and I remember I was like trying to fall asleep, but I kept having these nightmares of my dad dying, and I was just sobbing and sobbing. I remember he came into my room and he was like holding me, and I couldn't even say that, and I was just like, I just fear that you're going. I'm just scared that you're gonna go up. Like I couldn't even then reckon with the idea of death. I just knew that it was a scary thing because it would be this disconnection. I feel a little better about it now. I respect the beauty of it, and I respect that it is a unescapable part of life. And so because of that, I'm trying to accept it a little bit more. I accept it. I do. And I say that now as like a person. It's hard to have like a sort of, yeah, it's a part of life in this day and age of 2025 when so much of it is happening and so much of it feels avoidable. Keeping the politics front and center, it is very clear that a lot of people are dying when they shouldn't, when they don't need to, when there are many opportunities and options that we have and we can do that would prevent a lot of that. But that's a different video for a different day. And so all of this attempt at order is to stay alive. All of this attempt at avoiding entropy is always to stay alive. These attempts of growing and changing is maybe I will become so ascended, so awoken, so spiritually in this moment that I'll never die. And I think the people who do get to those levels then reach that certain type of enlightenment that then death becomes irrelevant. But I think what makes enlightenment special is that not a lot of us will get there, you know? And even enlightenment is sort of a trap, right? Enlightenment is a trap because, like, let's say you and I go to bed and I wake up tomorrow and I am enlightened. Life still goes on. My life doesn't end in that moment, or I don't have this whole new life. And it's like things are still going to happen. And life is still going to happen until my life is done. And so I don't think enlightenment is actually something that we want. I don't think enlightenment is actually something that I want. I say that I do. Talk about being ascended. Oh, that'd be so cool. To be enlightened, it'd be amazing. Locked into the present moment, always. How cool. Oh, what a relief that would be to have no anxiety and no fear and all this stuff and just locked into the enlightenment. And it's like, and then what? What would I do after that? And so I think it's the process that we crave, the process of becoming enlightened. And even that is a part of it, right? And obviously, to step onto the path to enlightenment is a good path to step on, is a good path to follow, you know? And many have done it before me and many will do it after me. And so it is a path that is well worn. and well trodden. So even though it has its ups and downs, it's still a clear path and a good path, I think. I mean, maybe not, actually. Maybe not, because then the process of enlightenment is like, maybe it's not so much even a path. Okay, I'm using the metaphor of life as like a forest, right? And so we're stepping through this forest of life, and we always have these paths that we follow. And you can step over, you can divert a lot of paths that then cross and then are parallel for a long time, blah, blah, blah. But maybe the process to enlightenment is not like a clear path on the ground that I can follow, but it's ribbons tied to individual trees. And so while I'm on this path, I can see a ribbon. I'm like, oh, this is the enlightenment path. Okay, groovy. I always kind of connect enlightenment to awakenings. The way I interpret enlightenment, I suppose, is like this kind of moment. Whoa. Like it all just comes sort of crystallized, focused. But maybe it's not like that. Maybe awakenings are not these huge tectonic shifts in our lives, but they're these small, imperceptible moments, these small little ribbons tied on trees. And so the gift is to recognize them, and the gift is to notice them in those moments. It's like, oh, here's a little awakening. I was writing out my thoughts for this video a couple days ago, and that idea of like small awakenings happened because of something. And oh man, if I had filmed this video a few days ago, that would have been the best metaphor ever, and you would have absolutely loved it. But maybe it is the thoughts that do actually then get to that. That's what it was. Hey. Okay. Okay. That was kind of a little moment, a little awakening in there too, where it's like maybe it's those thoughts that escape entropy and escape the sort of dissipation and this randomness. These are ones that sort of stick. And maybe those are awakenings. The one I had was like this awakening or this understanding about my impatience. I hadn't really given my impatience that much thought. I was like, oh yeah, I'm impatient, so I guess I better practice patience by, standing in line longer and being like, it's okay. I'm being patient by waiting in this line. But the realization, the awakening that I had around it is I am impatient maybe because I grew up in an environment that was not secure. So over dramatic, like divorced parents, la di da. I have such a good ability of like discounting my own experience, but if someone else was like having this in front of me, the wells of empathy that would come up for me and the wells of compassion that I would provide for that person that I don't give to myself is ridiculous. But it's because I grew up the way that I grew up was this idea that it's like, oh, if I don't get this love now, if I don't get this affection now, I am never going to get it. Or it may go away, or it may never come back. Yeah, so maybe awakenings aren't always these like huge shifts. Maybe there's a lot more opportunities for awakenings that I'm denying myself because I think less of them because they're my thoughts. And it's paradoxical, right? Because I want to surrender control, and I want to surrender to the universe, surrender to everything around me. It's like, you've got this. I am here, and so I surrender to the flow. But surrendering doesn't have to mean I'm just lying around and waiting for things to happen. That's what I've come to terms with of inspired action. Is that taking an action that is inspired? Since it's all energy exchange, right? If everything is this exchange of energy, if I'm always putting out good energy, but I'm experiencing bad energy, or like negative energies, like bad thought, negative thoughts about myself, negative feelings of doubt and lack of discipline, all this, this fucking book that I could write of all of these things that I'm not doing. If I'm only putting out good stuff and I still have those that I only save for myself or only really direct at myself, that is still energy being dissipated. And maybe that's the entropy, this randomness of spreading positive out, negative in, good out, bad in. Bad don't share. Bad not important to share. Only share good. Because if I share good, then I'll get good back. And if I share bad, then I'll get bad back. But it's a disservice to myself because to share all of me is good. And if I only save that like stuff for me, it's just going to fester in my brain. And that's no fun. I'm in the process of turning this page in my life into where I'm like really trying to enjoy my life. And maybe it's, coupled with this age and coupled with the world, and or maybe it doesn't even have to have a reason, but this like feeling of this is my only life. Outside of chemical imbalances, I've not done a great job of enjoying it. I've lived it. I've had fun, and I'm not saying that I've just been sitting in my room just literally. There are days like that though. But I haven't enjoyed it, I don't think. And the doubt is the clue, or the doubt is the answer, right? If I don't think I've been enjoying my life, then maybe I haven't. So it should be worth it to enjoy my life. And I want to enjoy it with you. And I want you to enjoy yours. And you know what? That's all I've got. Oy, oy, oy. You all. I'm talking to me. Maybe all my thoughts. I love you. Thank you for everything you've ever done to protect me and keep me safe. You have shielded me and saved me in more ways than I can count, and I will forever be grateful to you for that. But it's time to let go. It's time to just chill out because I'm an adult. I can take care of myself, and I want to. And I want you to rest. I really do. You deserve it. You've earned it. I love you. That's it. That's all I got. So, like, subscribe, share this with someone who is in the midst of an entropy, who is in the midst of this like randomness happening in their life, not knowing what to do. And share this with them so they know that they are not alone, as you are not alone, as I am not alone either. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Good.